I just let them in now? Is that all right?
Yes, I let them in. Plenty of
Okay,
room. Plenty of room. I think this holds about 100 people, doesn't it?
It does. I was going to say to you, we're not a commercial gym. We're a private sort of, I wouldn't say like high end, but we're more sort of upmarket gym. So our membership's a bit smaller.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So we're not
quality.
Anybody can come in anytime they want and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, man, I'm just going to let these people in. Is that okay?
Yeah, grand, yep. More
Good
quality
stuff.
than quantity.
Sorry?
More quality than quantity.
Well, I hope so. Definitely.
No, with the gym, I'm saying keeping it small.
Yeah, well, plans to change that this year, but coronavirus.
Oh, I know.
Through a spanner in the works. Where is everybody? Let me see where they are. There's Jenny.
I do have a top on, by the way. Sorry. I've been sunbathing.
You quickly called it up there, Jen.
Yeah.
Really saw something there. Is Simon here? Hold on, let Simon in.
Hello.
Simon, you can't see you, mate. You want to hide in the dark, do you?
No.
There he is. Okay, folks, I'm just going to record this as well, just for other people. Just, where are you?
In the garden. Pylon. Swinging chair. Not a
Oh, Sean Connery. I thought you meant Sean Connery.
007.
No,
Joking.
No, I'm going to... Folks, this is Sean. If you don't mind, Sean, I'll just give you a wee introduction. So Sean's a sort of performance coach and also a life coach in Belfast. But he does it online, so it's all across the world. And he's helped sort of professional athletes and professional musicians and performers to sort of like perform their best on the night and when it really matters. But he also helps normal people like us as well. Is that right, Sean?
What's normal?
Yeah.
They are normal, but yeah, sort of. What's your biggest area of expertise, Sean, or what are you most interested in?
I would specialise in resilience, mental resilience, and that would stem.
So what is that? How does that? Who do you help?
Well, at the moment, most of my work here in Northern Ireland, I look after business owners and senior management. They're people working under pressure. The business owners themselves are usually burnt out. A lot of them, we all start off, yourself, self-employed. You have this vision of a mature business where you're going to have more money and more time in your hands to spend that money. But it ends up that you don't delegate any work, and you end up working twice the hours of everybody else. You bring your work home. A lot of them self-medicate to sleep or drink, and then it all goes a bit peak tongue. So they lose the vision. They lose the vision, and then the brain will always look for a way out. With the stress, anxiety, the frustration, and that's where I come in then. Because when you're at the top of the ladder, you don't answer to anybody, so they need to be accountable, and they need somebody to just to support them and tell them what's what. I have no emotional attachment to their business, so I can see things that they can't see, and I can hit them a kick up the arse if they need it as well. I'm not a yes man. I'm not a yes man.
So because there's so much we could talk about, but I think everybody's in the same boat where we're a little bit stressed, we're a little bit isolated, we're anxious, we're overwhelmed. What is stress? That's a bit of a strange question, but how would you define stress and how does it impact us and all that?
A couple of people's faces just come into my head there when you asked me that.
Oh God.
Stress. Stress is it's a natural feeling. You need stress to survive. A good stress is what we call eustress, and then we have de-stress, where the stress levels get too high and we're not in control of it. So stress comes and goes. If it's really a feeling that's communicating, like all feelings, all emotions are communicating a specific language to the mind of what's going on. So if you look at stress, what it's saying is, I can't deal with this. That's what it, and then when you start to deal with the experience or the event, the stress dissipates. The danger is if you can't deal with it, or if you believe that you can't deal with it, then it turns to anxiety. And anxiety is where the body and the mind goes into a hypertonic stage where it's there all the time. So the body stops producing white blood cells, the health starts coming down, the immune system suppressed, it leaves the body open to disease. And then it's like if you're holding any amount of tension for a long time, it has to let go after a while. You go into burnout, and that's where apathy sets in. And in the apathy is linked to depression. That's where depression starts to grow in a human mind. So it's in everybody's favour to be able to deal with stress, no matter where it's coming from. And at the end of the day, it's just a feeling, like all feelings. Once you understand it and familiarise yourself with it, then you can replace it. You can keep it down.
So stress is also, I would have assumed that stress was physical and also mental.
Yeah, there's physical stress. That's eustress. Certain amount. We need a specific amount of mental and physical stress. It's like in the gym.
Yeah.
If you go into the Olympic weightlifting gym, first 3 weeks you're on an empty bar, maybe a month, because they don't want to put too much stress on to break the body down too quick, because it will cause injury. So psychological stress is the same method for building it, whereas you have to. It's like if somebody takes up a new sport. Say, some of my old martial arts students used to play Gaelic football, and 2 of them took up rugby, and they must have been 19 at the time. And I thought, bad move, because even in the likes of rugby, you're growing up with those, training your nervous system and your body for specific skills and a specific durability. If you're not used to that, doesn't matter how big and tough you are, you will get injured. And one of them actually ended up with surgery on his cervical spine. Big strapping guy, but his body hadn't accumulated and get that level of stress. You know what I mean? It wasn't specific stress. So stress is it's like fear or any feeling. It comes in different levels. So it's knowing, again, familiarising yourself with it, so that you can control it, because knowledge is power.
Of course. What is the best way to control it then? What sort of methods would you say that we would find useful?
Well, stress, as I said earlier, stress is the nervous system sending a message to the mind that you can't deal with something. So you have to be able to replace that with a feeling of, I can deal with this. So you're talking about building in self-belief then. Now, stress will pop up. You know, look what's happened to the world at the moment. Things come out of the blue. Things happen to us that aren't planned. Like I remember just getting into the year 2000, I was managing a fitness suite for 7 years for Royal Mail and running sports injury clinic in it. I got manager of the year for the UK. Wasn't long back from Singapore. It was the first Westerner to ever walk the biggest fair in Asia, in Singapore. Good martial arts club going. It was booming. Everything was fantastic. Come home from work. Bang. Found my baby brother dead in the garden. You can't prepare for those things. So there's a process that you have to go through to deal with that. And that's resilience. Resilience isn't about being mentally tough and hard that social media would always put out there. It's about being flexible. It's about having emotional intelligence. It's about having good support around us and friends and family. You know, and letting, again, delegating. If you feel that you can't deal with something, then ask for advice or ask for help from friends and family. Doesn't mean you're weak. There's still I still see out there a big perception that, you know, mental breakdown or mental health issues is a weakness, especially in men. And it's not. It means you're human. It means you need a break. It means you need to take a rest. and let people look after you until you get strong enough to get on your feet. It's like a physical injury in the gym. You take your time out, you do your rehab, you have your support until you're strong enough to go back into the gym and carry on with your building yourself.
Makes sense. So how do you build that self-belief? Folks, if you want to ask a question, by the way, sorry, I'm doing all the talking, please just ask. But how do you build that self-belief? Because often the negative thoughts are more powerful than the positive stuff, aren't they? That's what I found anyway.
Well, it's more natural to have negative thoughts because our highest human intention is safety and survival. So that's always number one. That's your number one need. So if I'm in a strange city, I'm not going to go out in the middle of the night and walk about and go into areas that I don't know. There'll be fear, there'll be images of things happening, and that's to protect me. We have more negative thoughts than we do positive thoughts. So it depends on the individual and your upbringing, the people you grew up with as well, your parents, your peers. So, but how do you build belief in anything? If you look up to a mentor in business or sport, say you follow somebody in sport, and you have a feeling, because a belief is just a feeling, and you have a belief that this person is great. How did you build that belief? That's a question, by the way.
Anyone? How do you build that belief? Oh God, I don't know.
Seeing the results, I guess, isn't it?
So how
seeing the results of what they do.
Yes. So that's one. How do you see the results? What did you have to do to see those results, to find out about those results?
Oh God.
Just reading about them and sort of talking to them and all that kind of stuff.
So you studied them. So if somebody believes in something in life, they've evidence for that belief because they've studied it, they've analysed it, and they've familiarised themselves with it. The problem with most human beings is they don't know much about themselves. They leave that up to their external environment. So they only feel good when people around them are behaving in a way that makes them feel good, or that they're being told that they're good. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So then, that's what we call it, external self-esteem. And internal self-esteem is when you have studied yourself, you familiarised yourself with all your strengths, your potential strengths, your skills, your resources, and you ingrain that. So it's not about information, it's about transformation. And that's when the feelings change from, if you like me, that's good. If you don't like me, you deal with it because I like me. And if anything comes up in life that's bringing up a feeling of, I can't deal with that, you can take a bit of time out and say, hold on, I just need to run this by myself. I can deal with that. I can deal with anything. Do you not know who I am? Most people don't know who they are, and that's why they're easily offended, and that's why they're easily broke down. I teach this stuff. I don't teach to all sports. I teach to some boxers and professional cage fighters. If you can get the opponent to doubt his own ability, you've broke him. It will just switch. It'll actually start sedating the autonomic nervous system. They start to feel weaker. It'll affect their proprioception, their balance. It does a lot of things. But it's just how we work. The foundation.
Powerful.
The foundation of human beings that we're built upon is self-esteem. Now, I would say most of my clients come to me for confidence building. Confidence is easy. It comes and goes. You can get it anytime you want. Self-esteem has to be there all the time.
Oh, so there's a difference?
Yep.
Obviously. I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
What's the difference then between confidence and self-esteem? Confidence
Confidence is it comes in waves. If you don't have confidence in, say I asked you to enter a baking competition and you've never baked a cake in your life, you mightn't have confidence in it. But you can access that feeling and generate it again, once again, in your nervous system by accessing memories of things that you are confident at.
Okay.
So when you go into the subconscious mind and gather that up, it must release the feeling. And it's just a feeling. That's all it is. The self-esteem is linked to the self-belief. So everything will come off that. Self-belief is our core. Who am I?
Yeah.
Am I capable? What is my purpose? And that's the foundation of all the work I do. It doesn't matter if they're in for sport, business, or it's somebody who's self-harming. I have to go back and check the foundation. Most people, if they're coming to see me, I'm usually thinking this person has forgotten who they are in life, or they were never taught, that they just don't know. And it's just the way society is. We know more about other people. We know more about computers or these celebrities or stars than, we need me time. We need to study ourselves, the conscious and, more importantly, the subconscious mind, your beliefs, your values. And it's just it should be done in school, actually. This is something that children should be taught.
Yeah. Folks, you want to ask anything? Guys, do you want to...
What do you do? Sorry, Deb's put her hand up.
Go on.
Is what you do, Sean, similar to CBT?
I've seen some friends do CBT. CBT is more on a conscious level. I work on a conscious level, but most of my covert work, I'm always getting into the subconscious. That's 88% of our mind. So to leave it out, to me, doesn't make sense. There's actually a poster I have on this, and it was people coming for sessions. For psychology, it took 60 sessions. For CBT, it took 40 sessions. And for hypnotherapy, it only took 6 sessions, because you're going to the core. And again, when you get into the subconscious mind, it can get complicated, especially if the person needs parts therapy, because the subconscious can develop different personalities within itself at different life stages. But all therapies are good. You don't need to it's like, I would say, you don't need an anchor for a canoe if they're just sort of superficial problems, stress, maybe mild anxiety. Counselling and that would do the job for that. But I think you find your own path, like anything, with the accumulation of your own experiences. You'll put that into your therapies. Like, I'll teach Qigong, meditation. I'm doing martial arts over 30 years, and the health side of the Asian medicine. So I'll find that a lot of that coming into my work as well. But it's just a toolkit. It's like if we call an engineer to fix the heating, he'll pull up in a van full of tools, but he won't bring them all in. He will come in and he'll look and see what he needs, and then he'll go back out and get the tools and bring them in again. And that's the way I perceive. It's the same as PTing, or somebody coming to your gym. They all need something specific. They all want something different. So that's the way I would observe what I do.
Yes. Sounds good, Sean.
Well, I was going to ask a bit about when you sort of touched on self-belief and things, and I think everyone goes through life sometimes and can have knocks or things that change those. So what would you suggest are, I don't know, good steps to take to build your self-belief and things again if you've had a knock along the way?
Go back to where you started. It's the same process. There's no secrets. So, if you get lost, go back to where you started. There's times we can build up and then get a knock, but then you have to go back and just rebuild again. It's something we must do on a daily basis. We should, as I said earlier, even 10 minutes in the morning. I'm writing a small book at the moment. It's my 5th book. I always say I'm never going to write another book. And they bubble up in my head, and I have to write them or I will get rid of them. And it's called The Great Book. And it's a simple process on how to feel great every day. And the process is carried out in the morning when you go into the bathroom. And it takes 10 minutes and you feel that you could run through the wall when you've done it. I'm always looking for, I work a lot with children as well, in America and Canada. And I have to take advanced tools and simplify them. And I'm always trying to make them stronger. I get odd stuff and make them more complicated and make them long drawn, but then you're not going to apply them in your life, especially as an adult, because our life is so complicated. There's so many things in it. If I give you a complicated program, then you're not going to use it. You're going to put it in a drawer somewhere. Yeah. I've bought complicated programs myself. I only finished one there. I bought it 3 years ago, and I never had time to do it. And just with the lock-in, I've got through it.
The time to do it.
Yeah.
I watched one of your videos today, and it was something that resonated with me. It said, every day you should think, what am I going to get out of this day, rather than what I need to do to get through this day.
Yeah.
So it sounds kind of like what you're talking about at the moment. So yeah, I agree with that fully.
That's gratitude.
It's hard sometimes because life's so hectic and we're on the rush and we're late and all that sort of nonsense.
We're very suggestible to what's going on around us all the time. And even our goal setting, if like I ran a workshop there, 6-week workshop on emotional intelligence and emotional release. I only done the goal setting on week 4. And everybody there said to me, the goal I came here for is totally gone. I want something different now. So we're influenced a lot. When if you've seen any of my workshops, I would usually play a lot of tricks with, I would say, okay. Am I still on your screen there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Something's come up here, sorry. Meeting's no longer. This meeting no longer has a time limit. So, and people are very suggestible, especially in the zone when you've had them in the room for an hour. And I've done it on the last guy was asked me about hypnosis, and he said he didn't really believe in it much. Was a doctor of psychology at a local university, and so I introduced him to some applied kinesiology, where we'd isolate the muscles from the groups and test. But I started giving him jargon. He knew nothing about the anatomy physiology side, and I started pretending and suggesting in a very casual way that he had certain weaknesses, and I switched off 4 big muscle groups, and he was weak as water. And then I stood back and laughed, and he said, "What are you laughing at?" And I says, "There's nothing wrong with those muscles. I suggested to you in a casual manner that you had a weakness, and it would cause another weakness due to the way the nervous system works, and you accepted it, and it became your reality. Now you know that it's not true. I'm going to test these muscles again, and they all lock strong." I says, "That's hypnosis. It's done on a daily basis. It's usually done in a negative manner, and the hypnotherapist is usually yourself." So
that's true.
It's keeping it simple. It's working on yourself every day. When you get up in the morning, best time. Who is that looking back at me in the mirror? What are they capable of? What skills have they accumulated over their lifetime? What obstacles have they had to overcome? And build rapport with that image. That's very, very important. That's where your self-esteem comes from. You have to feel really comfortable or have that feeling of self-belief when you see your own image or you hear your own name. Very important. And then your day, it's like, and the best athletes I've ever worked with, they don't compete against anybody, only themselves. It's a case of, I want to break my own time, I want to break my own strength records, I want to break my own performance. They don't care who they're competing against. If they've given their maximum performance, 10 out of 10, they're happy. They don't care what you think. Even if they're coming last for a time where they're on a dip, they will just keep going. They won't have any downers. All we can be is our best. Nobody can do more than their best. If my best does not please you, there's nothing I can do about that. So you're the core, you're the centre of the life wheel. Every spoke on that wheel is an aspect of your life. But the centre of the wheel must be strong and it must be balanced. Or the wheel will start to fall apart. Does that make sense? You've went very low there. Can you phone me back on this, Kevin? Or somebody tried to phone in there, and this is went very low. Whatever it's done. I can hear you, but very, very low. Hobbits again are formed through practice on a subconscious level. Hobbits are ingrained. It's like, if some people always tie their left shoe first before their right, without even thinking about it. Driving's a habit. It's an unconscious act. People biting their nails, lighting up a cigarette. Most people couldn't tell you how many cigarettes they smoked in a day. So you, first of all, it's being aware of the habit that you want to change, and then realising that this habit, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but realising, how did I form the habit? You formed it through practice. How can I replace it with a more positive habit? Practice. It's like if I fold my arms, I always fold my arms this way. If I do it the opposite way, if you try it yourself, then it feels slightly awkward. So I know that it's going to be awkward, but if I do this every day for the next couple of weeks, it's going to start to feel comfortable. So you can replace habits through repetition, and there's also other techniques where you can anchor in your linguistic programming and in certain forms of hypnosis that will anchor a certain feeling. Because if you have a habit of going for the biscuits or the chocolate when you're feeling bored or anxious, that's an emotional trigger. So you have to reverse that emotion, that feeling. So say for instance, when you think of a chocolate digestive biscuit, you get a feeling and your mouth starts to salivate. So you can anchor in a different feeling. When you think of the chocolate biscuit, you maybe smell meat that's off. You remember a time that you felt sick. You remember a time you felt ashamed. So I would anchor in all these negative feelings, and then ask the person, think of the biscuit now, and they usually cringe, because it's the feeling attached to the habit that keeps the habit. We feel before we actually think as human beings. Everything we do for a feeling. Everything we avoid, we're avoiding a feeling. It's as simple as that. So they're anchoring techniques. I don't know, somebody had asked me about CBT there. I don't know if they might have something similar in CBT. I don't know. I haven't studied it. What's that? Some people, you saying you thrive on stress sometimes? Yeah. Some people, again, this is down to your motivation, your driver. Some people work better under pressure. Some people thrive in stress. They can focus better. And when there's no stress, they don't get things done. They're very... So, taking an example in business, some people are very comfortable with themselves and they don't get stressed much. So it's only under pressure, the last minute pressure, they get things done. Other people don't feel comfortable and they're always chasing the achievements, because when they achieve something, they reach it and then they feel good, but it doesn't last. So then they're running chasing things again. They usually achieve a lot more than what I call the pressure cookers. So again, this is going back to what I talked about, the foundation of self-knowledge. Who am I and how do I work? And what type of the three human motivations is my biggest driver? So when you know how you work, you can work yourself better. You will know what motivates you. If you're constantly running in stress, again, you'd have to go into your history and see where that started. You need to trace these habits back when you're doing them, you know, if you want to get rid of them properly. It's like some individuals are always early. They'll always turn up early. Other individuals for a meeting will always turn up late. And you can actually trace that back. Some people to their parents. Yeah. So every symptom that we talk about as humans can be resolved once you start to build on the foundation of self-knowledge. Does that make sense? Are you okay at switching off? Do you know how to relax and switch off? Yeah. So it's having that balance. You know, stress is good. We need it. It's just if it runs over, it's affecting your sleep and other aspects of your life. And again, then you can learn a simple routine to switch off, to meditate. You know, YouTube's full of great meditation videos to help you sleep as well. Long-term goals are very important. They have to be emotional. They have to make you feel excited. You know, goals have to be broken down and they have to be realistic and sensible and time-based. But it's nice to have a big goal that makes you feel excited, even one you're never going to reach. As children, we do this, we dream, we visualise, we get excited. We tend to get too analytical as we get older, and a lot of adults lost their passion for growth and for new things, and this is why they get stuck in their symptoms and what's going on around them. If you have a big enough goal, if something makes you feel really excited, then nothing's going to stop you getting there. And even if you don't reach it, look how much you're going to have progressed on that journey to trying to reach that dream. You know, that's what I would call a dream, not a goal. And it's very important. And again, a lot of people go into business because of this. They have this vision, this dream, you know, I can do it better than my boss. And nobody's going to tell me what to do. I'm going to be worth a fortune. I'm going to do this. And then away they go. And then that vision, that dream, and the passion just gets covered up with stress and hardship and being let down. So you have to have it. You have to picture collages are very, very big. And again, they're great with kids, but even for adults, get photographs, make a collage of things that you want in your life, and put it up where you're going to see it every day. Because when you're looking at it, that curiosity and that wonderment of the subconscious mind, it's going to be looking, thinking, it's going to actually imagine how you're going to feel if it's a speedboat that you want, how it's going to feel when you're in the boat, who's going to be in the boat, the excitement. I'm saying a boat because that was something I had on my old collage, and I ended up with, it was me and a friend, we bought this 10-seater speedboat, and it scared the crap out of me. I was out in it maybe 3 times, and then I just let it go. But it came about out of the blue. Now, I don't read that stuff, The Secret and all, but I believe in the power of pictures, because as humans we think in pictures. If you close your eyes, and I say, if you close your eyes now, I'll say a couple of words. If you close your eyes, the Titanic, a football, a red and white football, a hockey stick with a yellow ribbon. And then if you open your eyes, did you all see images of the words? We think in images and pictures, so pictures are very powerful. If you have a feeling of self-doubt, worry or fear, your brain will build images of things going wrong. Because we're always building a future. We can plan ahead. That's why we're not in the zoo. The bears and the tigers are more powerful than us, but they're in the cages, because we can think ahead and plan and study them and trap them. But whatever you're feeling in the present moment will build that future. So if you're feeling fear and self-doubt, it builds a future of things going wrong. If you're feeling grateful, if you're feeling self-belief, then the future you build is going to look good. And that means you're going to move towards it, not away from it. Just through the website, Kevin, and then just email me through the website. It's seanconnolly.info. Or again, Facebook. Most people get me on Facebook or LinkedIn. I know it's a short time. I tried to cram in, but if you don't remember anything else, remember the first part, the self-knowledge. Start learning more about yourself, and everything else begins to fall into place. And then when I don't know you all personally, if any of you have children, when you've built your self-esteem, when you've built your self-belief, that has transference over to your children. Because if we have a low self-esteem, our children tend to end up with a low self-esteem. So if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for them. Okay, nice to meet you all. All the best. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.